Welcome to today's AMA, and we are with Dash Network. What is Dash? We all we all will get to know, and your money your way. So let's start the event. I'd like to introduce Mr. Joel Valenzuela, Director of the Dash Marketing Hub. Hello, hello, Joel.
Hello, how's it going? They're very glad to be here.
Yes, it's really nice meeting you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day. It's great to talk about crypto.
Awesome, great. So let's start the event. I would like to ask a brief introduction about you and your team in
Mhm.
and experience in crypto space.
Yeah, sounds good. Um, so are you it's just about my position?
Yes,
Yes. So I'm one of the three directors of something called the Dash Marketing Hub. It's Dash is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's in fact the first one that was ever created. And so anyone can apply to the network directly to work and form part of the network. And so the Dash Core team, Dash Core group is the one that takes care of most of development. And then an organization I'm part of, the Dash Marketing Hub, takes care of a lot of marketing and promotion. And so we're run like in a three directors. We all kind of equally contribute to run the whole thing. And it's a project that anyone can sort of propose an idea on how to promote Dash and get involved. And, it's a very kind of open and collaborative promotional way, or kind of trying something new, not traditional, like you have traditional marketing teams and directors in a hierarchical system. It's more of a collaborative system that's funded by the decentralized autonomous organization.
great. So, who- how is the team of Dash Network? How many people? I mean, I think Dash Network team members are from various part of the world.
Yes, it's difficult to estimate exactly how many people. They're the Dash Core team, which is the largest team that takes about around half of the funding every month, which takes care of the core protocol, is probably 40 or 50 people. But then teams like mine are probably another 20, 30. And then there's a few other teams that are working. There's a development incubator, which is also not, it's also its own separate entity, but mostly focuses on development projects outside of the main core protocol. So uh, probably easily over 100 people work in Dash right now in various capacities.
So, what's Dash? How does it work, and what's the end goal for Dash?
Yeah, so Dash, the word Dash is a portmanteau of digital cash. Dash is meant to fulfill the original vision of Satoshi Nakamoto of peer-to-peer electronic cash to be the best digital cash in the world. And so the mission of Dash is to basically take the same scarce digital decentralized sound money principles, but make them work for actual everyday payments for people all over the world by, for example, keeping fees low and easy to access for people all over the world, not just in the developed world, and making transactions instant, making the allowing optional obfuscation techniques for transactions, and next level security, and now an interesting data platform and layer that's going to be released very soon.
Thank you for answering. So, what are the key features of Dash Network?
Yeah, so Dash, the one of the key features is um, in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, let's just say, the way transactions work. If you send a transaction, it will appear instantly, but it's not considered secure or confirmed until it gets included to a block. And Dash has a functionality that makes called instant send that makes all transactions permanent in about 2 seconds. So if you pay a merchant, as soon as they see the transaction, a matter of seconds, it's considered done and permanent. And this enables a lot of point of sale applications. It makes things a lot more efficient for actual retail purchases. And so that's one of Dash's pioneering things. Another thing that Dash pioneered was called chain locks, which is a functionality to basically make the blockchain much more secure. So Dash is a proof of work coin, just like a mining coin, just like a Bitcoin, for example. However, there's a masternode layer on top of it, which is staked nodes. And that layer uses a functionality called chain locks to as soon as a block has one confirmation, as soon as it's on the blockchain, it's permanent and irreversible against 51% attacks. Some smaller proof of work coins have experienced 51% attacks where someone will deploy a lot of mining hash power and reverse the chain in order to steal funds. They'll actually reverse the transaction history, and that's a well-known problem with proof of work. But Dash solved this and doesn't have this. So it's if basically once a Dash transaction is sent, it's permanent forever. It's done. It's you don't have to worry about it ever again, which makes it ideal for not only small payments but also, trusting large transfers that you're not going to, get scammed, for example.
Yeah, that's great. So how does Dash differ from other blockchain?
Yeah, so Dash differs from most blockchains in a few key ways. First off, why, as I just mentioned, the transaction speed and security. A lot of times when you're trying to achieve a transaction security, you have to sacrifice speed, or vice versa. When you're trying to be fast, you have to sacrifice some level of security, and Dash has managed to achieve both of those. Dash also has a fully functioning, decentralized, autonomous organization. So every month, about 10% of the coin supply of new coins that are created is available to pay for, say, development in teams and things like that. And anyone can submit for I believe it's a 5 Dash fee now, but in a new upgrade, it's going to be reduced to 1 Dash. For 1 Dash fee, anyone can submit their idea of what to do for the network. I want to start this group to promote the network. I want to get paid for this. I want even just governance decisions. Like, I think we should go in this direction. And anyone can submit that, and if a majority of the nodes vote yes or no, then it automatically gets funded. And that's something that differentiates Dash from some other projects that have a DAO like system, where there's a team that holds on to a pool of funds in and there's, might be a multi-sig account, whatever. In Dash, if you get funded by the network, new coins get created and go straight to the address that you specified in the proposal, and no one can stop you. So if the main core team that does a lot of Dash's development does not like you, does not want you to get funded, for example, but the masternodes vote and you do get funded, they can have nothing to stop you. And so it's one of those true pioneers of decentralized governance that, as such, we've seen a lot of projects either struggle with governance decisions, such as Bitcoin has split many times. There have been many Bitcoin forks because they don't have a good governance mechanism to decide disputes. If they can't decide a dispute, the coin splits. It's happened, unfortunately, all too many times. Or other projects, for example, where the founder or the founding team controls too much of the project, and if something happens to that founder or that founding team, then the project kind of goes away. Dash was founded by Evan Duffield, and he stepped away from the project in 2017. And the biggest figurehead from 2017 to 2022 has been Ryan Taylor, and he's no longer with the project either. And now the Dash organization keeps moving forward despite changes in leadership over the years, which you don't really see that happen with a lot of other projects. And so Dash has also stayed very focused on payments, which right now, a lot of people around the world are interested in cryptocurrency. A lot of people invest in cryptocurrency. Very few people use cryptocurrency as their daily money. I'm one of the few people that does, but very few people do. And that's because this use case, even though it was the first use case for cryptocurrency ever with, peer-to-peer electronic cash system, still hasn't taken root really. Most people still use their banks or their government money. And Dash has still remained very focused on being the best actual digital cash in the world, so that hopefully people can start to actually use that and live entirely off of something like Dash rather than have to still rely on banks, for example.
That's great. So Dash has a huge network. So how do you think metaverse and NFTs will make make a bond to Dash network in future or upcoming?
Yes. So it's a very interesting space. It's very new. The thing about digital property and digital real estate and digital, online only worlds need a kind of native currency. And a lot of people, it's been a big barrier of a lot of the space trying to create integrated systems, integrated currencies. But then at some point, you have to exit into the real world to or the physical world to
Yes.
buy things and buy groceries or whatever. And so one of the advantages of using Dash in this regard is that you can kind of do both. You can say sell your NFT skin in a game or whatever and take that money and use that directly to buy your groceries. That's kind of the vision that Dash is going for, is to be able to bridge the physical and digital worlds and the ability to do that. And also, uh, Dash has been working on some project for many years. It was just code named Evolution, and the most current name is Dash Platform, which is a data contract layer for decentralized digital identities. And a token, right? A coin is a fungible token, FT, right? And NFT is just a unique token of any kind, a unique digital record. And with Dash's decentralized digital identities, each one of those is an NFT. So it's like an NFT identity, kind of. That was the primary the primary reason for this network to be created, was to this platform, I should say, was to have a decentralized digital identity that you could use to more easily transact between people. So you don't have to send ugly long addresses to each other. I can friend you at your username, and that's all on the blockchain itself, on the data layer itself, and transact freely between each other. But our digital identities, our blockchain accounts would be NFTs. And so Dash is hopefully trying to come into the NFT space in a little bit more in a kind of a unique way.
Awesome. So how can users run a Dash node? What are the requirements and what are the special benefits for running a Dash node?
Yeah, so there's two different kinds of Dash nodes, just like just like pretty much every cryptocurrency, or a lot of major ones at least, anyone can run a full node, have a whole copy of the blockchain, and just use it to broadcast their own transactions, and just not have to trust another service that runs a node. It's the same thing as someone running a Bitcoin node, someone running a Litecoin node, whatever. You can still do this with Dash, and it's relatively. I mean, I have one running on my spare laptop, right? It's not that difficult. Now, Dash has a special kind of node called a master node, which has significantly higher computational requirements to run them, and more importantly, it requires proof of ownership of 1,000 units of Dash. It's kind of like it's a proof. It's not necessarily proof of stake, because proof of stake is a consensus mechanism, but the term is proof of service. But basically, in order to prevent someone from spinning up thousands of nodes and attacking the network, each node has to prove they own 1,000 units of Dash, which at today's prices is somewhere over $50,000. At its peak, it was quite a bit higher than that as well. But so that's the largest requirement to run a master node. And then master nodes get approximately 55% of the block reward of the new coins created. And so you could get, I believe it's about 6% per year in rewards, to in staking rewards. It's not technically staking, but close enough, and staking rewards if you run a master node. And so, unlike a lot of other staking solutions, if you manage to run a master node, um, there's never a risk to the funds. There's never a risk to the loss of the funds. You control the funds. The worst thing can happen is if your node goes down, then you stop getting paid, but you never can actually lose your funds. You're not putting the funds up. And now for smaller holders, there are a few solutions that there are a few companies that will accept deposits for like one of my personal favorites is one called CrowdNode, which for as little as a half dash, which is like what $25 or so value, they will take your money and make master nodes and give you a return on that. And so it allows kind of smaller stakers to get involved and be able to earn on their dash. Of course, it is a custodial solution right now. So if people are afraid of giving their money over to someone else to do something, they should be aware of that. But there is a pooled masternode solution being worked on that would allow you to contribute, say, 10% of a masternode in a way that you still hold actual control over your piece. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, where you could earn from a masternode without having 1,000 dash, but also without letting go of control over your own money. So I'm very excited for that to come out.
Thank you for clearing about dash nodes. It's really good to know about the master node also. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And can you please tell about Dashcoin? Which roles does it play in the Dash ecosystem? And what are the benefits for holding Dash coins for the long term?
Yes. So the Dash coin itself, the unit itself, is the base currency of Dash. Dash is centered around the unit, right? It's kind of what people use to pay for things. And so one of the benefits is actually it's not a background token. It's not kind of a specific use token. It's for anything. And so it's kind of the money you can use. I mean, it's for me personally, it's my primary money that I use in a day-to-day basis to buy food, groceries, anything else. And for people around the world, it is as well. Um, Dash has a constant reduction in inflation schedule over time, similar to Bitcoin, except Bitcoin goes through a halving every about 4 years, where half the supply emission goes in half. Dash is a 7% reduction every year. So it's a smaller reduction, but much more frequently. And so, unlike a lot of government currencies, Dash's inflation constantly decreases. And so because of that, it becomes more scarce over time, and it's more valuable to hold as a result. And the good thing, of course, is because of the aforementioned staking options, you can earn some back as well. It's not just you have to hold it and then hope it goes up. There's also you can earn on that.
Okay, thank you. What are the major partnerships for Dash?
Yeah, so Dash is, I mean, it's kind of interesting question, because Dash has been in the game for a long time, for like 8 years, and is supported by most major exchanges and services, like, for example, in the US, Coinbase and Binance and things like that. And um, some of the ones that kind of stick out that are more unique, there's a service called Bitrefill, which for people actually looking to spend cryptocurrency in the real world, it's a essential service basically. And Dash is one of the few coins that's supported on Bitrefill. Bitrefill allows you to pay your phone bill and pay buy gift cards for just about for retailers in many major countries all around the world, where it's kind of an intermediary to be able to get to spend it directly at the retailer. And so it's a great option for a lot of people, and very few currencies are supported on Bitrefill. So that's a very powerful partnership. Bitrefill recently in El Salvador and the US only for now, but are seeking to expand it, have a bill pay functionality allowing you to pay any bill, for example, electricity bill, anything else, yeah, in Dash. And that's a critical partnership that's very, very powerful. Now, one thing that's very important for Dash as a project, but it's very regional at this point. So it's there's an app called Dash Direct, which basically is a one app solution that lets anyone currently it's only in the US currently because it's a new company that is kind of started out, but it basically allows someone to spend their Dash anywhere, like anywhere in the entire country. And so this is done through a combination of offering discounts for gift card solutions at major retailers, but the user experience is smooth enough that you can go into a major retailer. You have, let's say, cost 35.78 is the price. You can just enter 35.78 right in the app, and then they scan it, and you pay almost as if it was native, and that's how you get a discount. But there is a crypto card that is added as a result of that as well, which allows you to spend anywhere MasterCard is accepted, which is the entire country basically. And without, but the key element of that is without compromising your privacy, without giving up your government ID, without showing who you are, without proving who you are, with certain limits. I think it's about $1,000 a day. But basically, that means that anyone can live entirely off of Dash, unbanked today in the US, starting with the US, and hopefully it'll expand. And so that's a massive benefit, but I understand it's not necessarily a global benefit. One interesting thing about Dash with partnerships is Dash pioneered this institution called the Dash Investment Foundation, which is it's an investment organization that allows the decentralized Dash network to own property and equity in companies and things like that. So every year, the master nodes come together and vote on and elect a few supervisors who anyone can apply to be a supervisor, right? But hopefully people with investment experience to run the Dash Investment Foundation, which then takes money from the Dash decentralized autonomous organization and then is able to invest it in companies. And so, for example, Ionia, which is the company that produced this Dash Direct app, received some investment from the Dash Investment Foundation. Valkyrie, which is an investment company that I believe produced the first Bitcoin ETF, is part owned by Dash as well, because the Dash Investment Foundation was able to do that. BitFi is a major company in Brazil that has also is part owned by Dash because of this. And there's just a continuing series of companies that are invested in by the Dash network. And so everyone who holds Dash in a certain way holds claim to some of these assets. They cannot redeem it necessarily, but anyone who holds Dash is able to vote as to what happens with the network, and anyone is able to therefore have claim to these assets, so that, for example, if something were to happen with the Dash price where it went too low, there'd be possibility of selling equity in companies for Dash to push the price back up, for example. But more importantly, it allows the Dash network to invest in its own future of its ecosystem and to gain assets and equity and reinvest and kind of build a partnership empire beyond just whatever the pure network itself does, but still completely controlled by the network itself.
Awesome. It's great to know about Dash Investment
Mhm.
Company and its partnerships and all those use cases. So, can you please tell us more about Dash mobile wallet?
Yes. So the Dash has, in my personal opinion, of course, I might be biased, but one of the best mobile wallets in the game right now. And it's, as a very basic functionality of, send, receive, store securely, and also has some integrations. I believe um, Uphold and a few other exchanges are built in, so you can buy directly. And also, maybe I should actually just open the wallet and see if I can show off some things. But uh, one of the things I like the best, because as someone who uses this in my day-to-day life, is the opening screen has a quick send and quick receive, so it's extremely fast to open the wallet and just scan a QR code and make a payment. So you don't have to be going through several screens trying to figure out, while people are waiting to pay at a merchant behind you. You can just go kind of directly. Another thing I like is there's an explore feature which shows where you have where you can find, for example, an ATM to buy Dash close to you, or there's also a spending map that shows merchants you can spend it close to you. And so it's probably the most intuitive and easy to use cryptocurrency wallet for spending and basic money purposes that I've seen personally. And yeah, I would encourage everyone to download it and try it out and to see how it works, send some money back and forth. It's really easy to send between friends. You can send it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for very few fees, and have instant confirmations the whole time through. And that's always a pleasure to test out in the cryptocurrency world.
Awesome. So, what are the future plans of Dash? And can you also say about some achievements of Dash?
Yeah, so the future plans, Dash remains focused on becoming the best digital money in the world. And so right now, the biggest focus is on Dash platform to get that released to the public so that we can kind of have a much more intuitive payment experience where now hopefully every Dash user gets a Dash username and an account with that and can connect with friends and colleagues and other things like that and just basically become a completely decentralized like Venmo or other payment app type experience. And so that's been a goal of Dash for a very long time. And this has consumed a whole lot of development resources and time trying to get this thing done. And it's hopefully very soon, going to be done. And the next step after that is to build out the decentralized application infrastructure that is built on the Dash platform that kind of allows a lot of facilitation of transactions and other commercial needs. For example, one of my favorites that's being built right now is a social media platform similar to Twitter, but not exactly the same, but that allows people to tip right in the app as well and receive, and then the monetization of that can kind of have an effect of boosting posts or not. And so just a very much more monetized and interactive Twitter type social media platform is one of them. One of the benefits, and this is where it gets a little bit more technical than I can completely understand because I'm not a coder, but the one of the benefits of that platform is the ability to um, provably query data very fast. And for most people, that doesn't really, it doesn't mean anything really. But what it does mean if you're building a decentralized application, like let's just say a food delivery service, there's a lot of infrastructure that is easy to use right away to where you can easily query a list of restaurants close to you, and the Dash network itself will do all of that very fast, as opposed to right now if you want to build a service that does that, you have to design some like search algorithms, you have to you have to run servers to do all this. Yeah, there's a whole lot of capital expense to build a service that can kind of do this. And so I think decentralized application developers are going to love to build on Dash because they can they can query and access data very quickly and efficiently. And so you'll have probably a lot of apps that are built on Dash that people don't even, realize that they are, that just seem like, oh, it's just someone's going to build on it because it's cheaper and much more efficient. We don't have to do, that much extra stuff. And so another big advantage that I think is kind of people are sort of not realizing yet is um, a term I like to call Dash platform is Web 4, although I think we're still at the Web 3 stage. But there's a problem with Web 3, which Moxie Marlin Spike, the founder of the Signal Encrypted Messenger, pointed out, is that in order to access Web 3, you need to go through a full node. And so usually it means the client or the user, on their phone has to connect to a node, which then connects to the blockchain. And so because if you run your own node, this is not a problem, but almost no one runs their own node, especially a full Ethereum node, for example. Very few people do that. And so at some point, you're trusting a centralized intermediary to engage with Web3. And that's kind of an antithesis to all of crypto. The entire purpose of crypto is to not trust anyone, to just be able to control your own money and your own data. And what Dash Platform has managed to do is use a function called the DAPI, or decentralized API, that will allow the client to connect directly to the blockchain. So your phone would be able to, your phone wallet, whatever, your light client could connect directly to the blockchain and not have to trust a company like, for example, like MetaMask, that then could be censored, have problems or whatever at some point. It just makes that a lot easier. And so this is a big problem that the best developers in the blockchain and Web3 and metaverse space are working on today. And Dash has already solved this in a big way. And so when Dash platform is released, shortly, hopefully a couple months, then I think that that'll really open up a whole lot of new possibilities for the continued evolution of the space going forward.
Awesome. It's great to hear all these information. And thanks for a great introduction. Let's move on to the next part. We will be having Twitter selected questions. So where I'll be asking questions and you'll be answering them.
Okay.
Awesome. So first question comes from, just a moment. Yes. Sorry. Tricky point for you. Do you agree the strength of the community and will let your project grow globally?
Can you rephrase the question? Was it on the strength of the community?
Yeah. Do you agree that the strength of the community will let your project to grow globally?
Yes. The answer to that is yes, I do. It's something that every company, if you're talking about just a company, it requires a customer base, a user base, and a lot of times in companies that are centrally run and directed, you need it. They can take advantage from a very energized fan base and community. This is much more in a decentralized space. In a decentralized project such as Dash, you can really leverage a community in a much greater way. And so, for example, one could say like I'm a member of the community because I founded this organization called the Dash Marketing Hub with a couple of partners, and we were just fans and community members, and we just decided we want to be official part of this and just joined on board. And a lot of different projects around the world for Dash are community led. And so, for example, Dash made many headlines in the 2017 2018 era because there was a community led initiative in the country of Venezuela when it was experiencing hyperinflation to try to attempt to mass adopt Dash in the country. And so that was not an initial priority of the Dash core team, the main development group, but it was some community initiatives managed to get started there and onboarded thousands of merchants in Venezuela. And to this day, amongst some of the more popular payment processors used by supermarkets and other groups like that to accept cryptocurrencies, Dash is frequently either the top most used coin above Bitcoin or it's second to Bitcoin as far as the most used for purchases in Venezuela. And that's like an entirely community led thing. It's so, yeah, every crypto project, especially if they're actually decentralized and don't run like a company, lives and dies by their community. And I think the Dash community is one of the best in the world. In previous years, there have been quite a few high praises from the Dash community from outside partners. For example, Anthony Diorio of the Jax wallet, which was a very popular wallet back in the day, said the Dash community is one of the best he's ever worked with. And right now, Dash is in the process of being integrated into the Thorchain DeFi platform. And the Thorchain community has remarked that the Dash community being very excited to kind of join forces together it's been one of the most excited and engaging communities they've dealt with as well. And so Dash has consistently had a tight-knit community of very excited as well as positive and polite. You know, in the early crypto days, there was a lot of toxicity, and Dash has usually had a very positive and polite yet energetic community around the world.
Awesome. Thank you. Second question, can you share the utilities of your token and why it is a valuable token to hold for the future?
Yes. So I believe I kind of answered a little bit of that before, but I can kind of reiterate. Basically, the first and foremost utility of the Dash token is it is money. It's, you know, you can store it, send it. You can actually pay for real things in the real world. And so a couple, and this is very very region dependent, I suppose, as far as where where you know people and services that use it. But I would recommend checking out Bitrefill and to see, and because Bitrefill has like also a country selector, and to see by country where places you can spend it. Bitrefill is a good one, and another one is called Cryptworks, CRYPT, right? Crypt and WERK. Cryptwork.com is a merchant directory for cryptocurrencies, and there's a Dash filter slash section on there, and you can see where Dash is able to be spent all around the world. But yeah, the primary utility of Dash is money, and so it's the prime, just like any other money. You should have Dash, you should stake it to earn interest on it, and then you should use it to pay for bills and, you know, expenses and things like that, send as remittances to friends and family, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the primary use case, and, you know, of the token.
Thank you. So third question comes, can I store only Dash coins in Dash wallet? If yes, don't you have plan to support other coins tokens as well in Dash wallet?
Yeah, right now it's the wallet is Dash only, Dash exclusive. There are other wallets that will they support multiple coins, and Dash is one of them. So, for example, personally, I am a fan of the Edge wallet, which supports quite a few different currencies as well as Dash, and it's one of, you know, it's a good one. And the Dash wallet, uh, there is a project, I believe, to build a wallet that allows it's still, you know, mainly a Dash wallet, but that would allow people to send and receive through other tokens as well. And so this would work through the upcoming Thorchain integration, where let's just say you receive, someone wants to send you Bitcoin and you send it in the wallet and it gets automatically converted into Dash into the wallet. Or then you want to pay someone, but they don't take Dash directly, but they do take, say, Litecoin. And so you could send Dash out of your wallet and it would be converted into Litecoin in the stream, and then pay that way. I know there's one such wallet in the works, uh, made by the Dash incubator.
Awesome. So fourth question comes, like, what is the DeFi sector you're focusing on, and are there any new plans to look forward? So what are the benefits for it?
Yeah, so DeFi is an interesting thing. Is as far as DeFi is concerned, uh, of course, Dash has been one of the very first cryptocurrencies that you can earn yield on in the form of a masternode, right? We could, if you had 1,000 units, you could earn something on that, and that was, you know, since the old days, since before there were very many even proof of stake coins, and before DeFi was really a thing. Now, Dash is the thing is the DeFi space is becoming quite, you know, crowded. There's quite a few different projects doing all kinds of things. Um, what Dash is focusing on is being added to cross-chain native automated market makers and exchanges, and Thorchain being like the biggest one of those. And so the good thing about Thorchain is it's an entire product, entire community, a lot of development capital behind it and stuff that basically allows a next generation DeFi platform that works natively for native other tokens. So one thing I personally noticed in the space is a lot of different projects start doing DeFi in ways where they seem to just be doing the same thing as competitors. And so there's the same set of tokens on 5 different chains, for example, and it becomes a little, the appeal of changing to one chain to the other makes it it's not quite there. There's a lot of I believe copied work, and that is in there's a lot of duplicate effort that could be saved by focusing on something else. And so uh, the beauty of getting Dash on something like Thorchain is you'd be able to provide liquidity for Dash and earn in a different way than the native kind of staking system. You'd be able to earn on that. And when the Thorchain protocol is coming out with, in some point in the future, something called ThorFi, which would allow for decentralized lending and things like that also. And the beauty of having Dash supported by the protocol means that now everything that every innovation that Thorchain builds in the DeFi space, Dash has and Dash holders have immediate access to. And so that's kind of the Dash plan, as it were, right now, is to kind of get involved in these native DeFi protocols that are already building out a lot of the functionality. While what that also does is that means that any currency, any token supported by something like, for example, Thorchain, and then there's more coming in the future, but beginning with Thorchain, is that any of them can then move their money out into Dash and then spend that in the real world. And so that's one of those biggest challenges of, I guess, DeFi in the modern age is people go into DeFi, they do whatever, they make money, and then to get it out to whatever they want to use the money with is a little bit more complicated, because then you have to, the point of DeFi to decentralized finance is you don't have to use a centralized custodian or service. The problem is you do have to do that largely if you want to spend your actual money that you make, because then you have to still send to a centralized exchange and try to swap for money in your bank account, for example. But so the good thing about having Dash as part of the DeFi world is being able to swap into Dash on the exchange and then just spend that Dash directly without having to worry about going to a bank first or something else like that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. So, fifth question by Himansh. He asked, I made a Dash wallet, but how it is secured and safe is the wallet compared to other e-wallets or mobile wallet? And what is the security mechanism of Dash to ensure user assets do not become the target of hackers?
Yeah, so Dash works similarly to most other cryptocurrencies with security, in that the Dash wallet is a non-custodial wallet that uses the 12-word encryption, right? So you have the 12-word recovery seed, and as long as people don't get access to that, it should be good. I mean, the wallet has been has received security audits. It's pretty airtight. It's so I personally have never heard of any instances of Dash mobile wallet getting hacked. Now, as always, I would, and most people would, encourage anyone who's especially worried about security to, for larger amounts, to invest in a cold storage solution, such as hardware wallets are, of course, the biggest, the easiest way to achieve a decent level of security of cold storage. And I believe Dash is supported in all the major ones, at least Ledger, Trezor, KeepKey, etc. And so for greater security, that would be that. But the Dash mobile wallet, of course, is also secure, but just any mobile wallet that has access to internet always isn't going to be as 100% ironclad as cold storage, but it is still quite secure.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing all these information. And now let's move on to the next part of our AMA. It's live questions. So
Yes.
users will be asking their questions and you can answer them directly.
Okay. And is this in the YouTube live chat, or is this in the Twitter feed?
Yeah, YouTube live chat.
Okay. Let me see. So, can you tell us more about the security mechanism of Dash project? I like that one. So, um, Dash is a hybrid proof of work, proof of service blockchain. And so the main security mechanism for the network is mining. So Dash has the X11 mining algorithm, which is a mixture of 11 different mining algorithms. And it's by far the largest, the most significant project using this algorithm. And so the good thing about that is, for example, if you're not the biggest coin on the mining algorithm, it can be easier for someone else to take you over, whatever else. And so that's the base layer of Dash security is Nakamoto consensus, is proof of work mining. On top of that, there's a layer called chain locks that works with the masternode layer. So with there's around a little over, but there's close to 4,000 different masternodes operating constantly right now. And so each of those is backed up by 1,000 units of Dash. So you have to spend a lot of money to try to overcome the network. At some point, there's something called a long living masternode quorum, which uses BLS signatures, aggregated signatures, to produce a quorum or a group of masternodes. So let's just say 100 masternodes get selected for a period of time at random's not the right word, but basically at random. They get selected from around the network, and those masternodes, they observe blocks as blocks are created and come in. And in a lot of nodes in cryptocurrency use what they call the first seen block rule, whereas the first block that they see on the network, they consider to be the real one, the permanent one. And so what happens is the quorum of masternodes will take the first seen block and they will lock it in permanently. They'll do something called a chain lock, and then that block is written permanently into that block is written permanently into the record.
Can you please mute? Hello. Joel, we have some users who would like to ask questions directly.
Hi, sorry, I was briefly muted.
Joel, so we have
Yes.
a few users. They would like to ask questions to you directly.
Yes.
Please, can you please ask one by one, users? Joel, one
Yes.
user asked questions. Question in chat section.
Okay. Let's see. Where is Dash listed so I can purchase it? So Dash is listed on quite a few exchanges across the world. Obviously, Binance, I believe, is the biggest one. It's all over the place. There is the best resource for this is dash.org slash full dash list of exchanges. I could put I could send the link, but basically, if you go to dash.org, which is the main website, and then you go to under get started, buy online, and it kind of has a selector of like some of the main exchanges, but then there is a see full list option where you see the full list of exchanges that are available all over the world. And so this might be there's been quite a few exchanges that have added Dash recently, so there might be some that aren't on this list, but this is still a pretty comprehensive list.
Joel, we also have some questions in Zoom chat section.
Okay. And which section? I'm sorry.
Zoom chat section. Yeah.
Okay, let me look at that one. Okay, this one here. Many exchanges have been hacked, even though they have high level of security. Do you have a mechanism to prevent such attacks? Will you compensate users if such an attack occurs? So, the Dash project, of course, is a decentralized money project, and Dash as it's a decentralized project, it does not have a kind of compensation mechanism for users who end up losing funds because the network itself is secure, and there's no reason, there's no kind of reason for that to happen. As far as exchanges, though, the thing about, and if an exchange gets hacked directly, the burden is on the exchange to compensate users for losses. It's not on the decentralized network, it's on the exchange. Now, what does happen is there are 51% attacks that happen where someone will, for example, deposit a bunch of money, like let's just say Verge, I believe, is one of the big ones that they got an attack. They will deposit a lot of money onto the exchange. They will sell that for something else and withdraw that. And then they will attack the network and roll back all those transactions. And so the exchange will lose all that money because the entire network got reversed. And so because of that, as soon as the dash deposits are finalized and permanent instantly, and they can't be rolled back. So that's a massive advantage that I don't think has been taken advantage of quite enough in the trading world, is that if you deposit Dash on an exchange, it gets there right away. It's confirmed permanently. You don't have to worry about a chain rollback or something causing some sort of a hack or a theft. But generally speaking, I would encourage people to, when you use exchanges, withdraw your money from exchanges. And if you feel comfortable with your own security practices. One of the key principles of cryptocurrency and that Dash is held onto is control your own keys, your own private keys to your own money, and that makes you less susceptible to hacks. And so a lot of hackers, for example, target large exchanges because if they can target an exchange, they get a large pool of people to steal from. It's like what they call a honeypot, right? And it's much less it's much less easy to find out single users or try to kind of target them. And so the good thing about Dash's speed and low fees and high security is, for example, if you want to move Bitcoin on and off an exchange every time you trade, it costs transaction fees and it can take a long time for confirmations. Dash does not have those problems. So you can afford to hold on to your own money at all times. When you want to make a trade, move it onto the exchange. It's confirmed almost instantly, and then start trading. And then when you have profits or whatever else you want to do, you can take it off instantly. Now, not every single exchange recognizes Dash's unique technology. So some don't really have this, but if you go to the dash.org and look on the exchanges, there's a section on FastPass, which is a kind of term for exchanges and other services that recognize Dash's unique technology and let you do that.
Awesome, thank you. Adebumi has a question for you, Joel. Adebumi, can you please turn on your mic and ask question?
They permit you.
Hello. Yeah, please ask your question.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is at Machisa on Twitter. My question is directly on the partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about your partnerships?
Yes. Let me look at some other things. So I covered some of the major partnerships earlier. Are there any other things that you were looking for that were more specific, or is there something that was missing there?
Joshua, please ask your question. Joshua, Jonathan.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Talking about your NFTs. Can you tell me where I can
Yes.
get the NFTs, its merits, and if there are any staking opportunities associated with having the NFT?
Yes. So the NFT space on Dash it's still new. It's on testnet currently because all this has been built on Dash platform, which has been in the works for many, many years, and which is currently on testnet and finishing up getting rid of the last few bugs. So it's not currently deployed yet. The initial NFT application will be for an NFT as a user identity. So, for example, I could, have my username and that can connect to others and transfer money and et cetera like that. Now that's the beginning and that will be within a few months. Basically, the short answer to that is it's not yet deployed yet, but by the end of this year, hopefully we'll see some good traction on that front.
Awesome. Thank you. And we have one more question from Sahan Situmina.
Most people want to know about your Dash project, but investors who are expected to join on the issue of understanding English are likely to shy away. So our community is set up locally so that they can understand their own language, or are there any future plans?
Yes. So there are quite a few different Dash communities in different regions with different languages. Um, as always, so the obviously the main website and other things like that are translated into quite a few different languages. In addition, though, there's a significant Latin American and Spanish speaking community. There's a project in El Salvador right now, and there's quite a few in Venezuela as well. So Spanish is a big one. Interestingly enough, there's a strong Russian community with Dash, which, especially in light of recent events, a lot of people in Russia are looking for financial solutions that don't go through the main banking system, and so that kind of draws a lot of people from Russia to be interested. Yeah, there are a few different groups in different languages around the world. Um, Generally speaking, one of the best places to meet for all this is the Dash Discord server, which most of the chatter is in English, but there are like special channels dedicated to different ones, to different languages. And I believe there's a few. I'm kind of new to using Telegram, but I believe that there are some dedicated Dash chats in Telegram that are different languages.
Awesome. Thank you. And Alpha Willie, do you have any question? Please ask to Jordi. Yes, please turn on your mic and ask the question. Alpha Willie, please ask your question. Amelia, do you have any question? Please ask.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you tell something about team and what are their experience in the crypto market?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
hello?
yes, we can hear you. Just a
Uh,
moment, Alpha Willie. Amila is asking one question. Amila, can you please repeat your question?
Hello. Can you tell something about your team and what are their experience in the crypto market? It's my question.
Yes. So, and this is the Dash team in general. Okay. So, well, personally, I've been involved in the crypto space for about 9 years now. I started in 2013, and then towards the end of 2015, I decided to get very serious about the crypto world, and so I stopped accepting payment or compensation in dollars and only accepted at that point. At that point, it was Bitcoin. And so since 2015, I've only ever been paid in cryptocurrency, and it's been mostly Dash since 2016. And so that's kind of my background. I think I've been a journalist. I wrote for Cointelegraph for many years, and then have worked um, mostly for Dash in various capacities since 2016. And so um, a lot of the people in the Dash world have a kind of a very varied background, and there's a lot of people who've been there for a significant amount of time. Like the development team and the chief technical officer Sam Westrich has been developing for the Dash project for probably 7 years or so by now. And so it's quite a diverse group of people, because it's the opportunity with the decentralized autonomous organization is that anyone with any background can apply and seek employment. And it's not a centralized company that says, well, we have our own criteria. It's anyone who can make things happen makes things happen. And so there's a lot of people in all different kinds of backgrounds in the various different teams working under the main Dash decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay, thank you, Joel. We will take one more question from Alpha Willy. That will be 5 roundup. Is it okay, Joel?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you. Alpha Willy, please ask your question.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, I think for most projects, they have long-term goals, which includes the future generation. So for this particular project, now that's Dash, what's their goals like for this generation and then the coming one? Like, what's their long-term goal for the next generation after this one?
Yes. So the goal for Dash in general, obviously, is to become the best digital cash in the world. And the purpose for that is right now we live in a world with serious problems, in my opinion, on financial inclusion. There's financial services that serve some people in the world, but not everyone. And there's quite a few people who are unbanked or underbanked, whether by choice or not, all over the world, that don't have the access to the same financial opportunity as other people. And what the general goal of cryptocurrency is to include everyone in this. Now, of course, the problem in a lot of ways is some of the major cryptocurrency projects have not been very usable for the average person around the world. So, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum have both become much more expensive to use. And so even though anyone theoretically around the world could use them, it's not necessarily feasible for people in the developing world. And so the benefit of what Dash hopes to achieve in this generation is, of course, to get as many people as possible access to the absolute best financial systems and technology in the world. So no matter where anyone lives, and to be able to transact with the highest grade security instantly for very cheap, for affordable for everyone, and to basically decentralize financial and economic opportunity around the world by providing a real stable money that people can use anywhere, that people can trust that it's going to be secure and safe and cheap and efficient. And that's like the initial goal. And in the future, what Dash's platform is building is a decentralized digital identity system. And so what we're hoping to do, the first step is to get people to be able to use the next level decentralized awesome money. Everything else I said, the first step is decentralizing money. The second step is decentralizing data and identity. And so, for example, a lot of times people still rely on centralized institutions or other for their data needs, whether it is their physical identity and records keeping and things like that, or if it's data in infrastructure for decentralized applications where, for example, a lot of people still have to use like rent server space from Amazon AWS, for example. And basically it's to kind of democratize data, and specifically access to your own data. It's like your money your way, and in the future it'll be your data your way. And so hopefully I would love to see a world in the future where the next generation, everyone has their own decentralized Dash blockchain identity that they can use to transact anywhere. They can use to store and collect NFTs and other property like that. And they can also use that decentralized identity to authenticate things anywhere. And they don't have to trust their money or their data with any centralized custodian. They get full absolute control, and it can be done affordably. It can be done by everyone across the entire world. That's kind of a greater grand vision.
Thank you, Joel. It's really great. And thanks for your patience. It's CryptoNite Club members are lucky to have AMA with Dash Network, and it's really great time we had today. So do you have anything more else to share to community members?
I think that's basically it. We have a strong presence on Twitter. It's a great place to kind of connect. Obviously, join the Dash Telegram channel and then the Discord channel. And the thing that keeps me interested and focused on Dash is that Dash is focused on being useful to the real world. And there's a lot of times when crypto projects tend to be something that people are interested in. Yes.
Yes. Also, I am one of the investor personally from my side. Mm-hmm. I thought to share it to you in the beginning, but at the end of AMA, I'm sharing. Yeah. So many users are still waiting in Zoom, but unfortunately, we have less time. So I have to conclude the AMA today.
Yeah. So thank you very much for having me. It's been a distinct pleasure.
Thank you. It's really great to have AMA with you guys again. So guys, please do not forget to join social media of Dash Network on Twitter and Telegram chats, and also please check their website. Thank you everyone for joining today's AMA. See you again.